Flying Thunder God has been one of the best techniques in the Naruto series. Minato Namikaze became one of the fan-favorite characters and worldwide famous ninja, mainly because of that technique. But when and how did he learn it? This is the topic we will talk about today, but before starting I want to ask you all to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more. I hope you all have a great day. Now let's start the video. Well, the Naruto series was long. The manga was first published in 1999 in a Japanese magazine called Shonen Jump and was an ongoing series until 2014. Despite it being such a long-running series, there have been a lot of things that were left out from the story due to Kishimoto having limited time, and that's why there have been 8 of the supplementary guidebooks on the Naruto series authored by Masashi Kishimoto. They explain various things in much greater detail which unfortunately did not get enough screen time in the original manga. A lot of people doubt their canonicity due to the various questionable statements that have been said in those books, such as Temari being able to blow the entire universe away, Kakashi being omnipotent, Sasuke being stronger than the Akatsuki, the 4th Raikage being faster than the Yellow Flash, etc. What people fail to understand is that in most cases when it comes to power, Kishimoto often describes abilities of certain characters in exaggerated ways to make them appear cooler. This is just his artistic way as a writer, but a lot of people take certain statements literally, which is wrong. The datebooks are a valuable source of information for a lot of things, especially about certain traditions and background things which were not explained in the manga. One of them was a small passage which was about how certain forbidden techniques were inherited by the next generations. The passage is called Inherited from Master to Disciple, Secret Story of the Creation of Forbidden Ninjutsu. According to this passage, Flying Thunder God technique, impure world reincarnation, and so on, regardless of the difficulty in their mastery and operation, continue to be handed down for generations to come. Such high-ranking ninjutsu were created by a certain expert in jutsu development. It was the 2nd Hokage, Senju Tobirama. Tobirama's developed jutsu were later inherited by a disciple, a user whose name was Rising. Namikaze Minato improved the mastery of Hiraishin no Jutsu, and thus took the nickname the Yellow Flash. The excellent jutsu was refined according to the disciple, who evolved it together with the era. I think this statement confirms that Minato and Tobirama weren't the only users of the Flying Thunder God technique. According to the 4th Naruto databook, Tobirama's forbidden techniques were later inherited by his disciple, whose name was Rising, and we all know who that ninja was. It was none other than Hiruzen Sarutobi. We know that Hiruzen was trained rigorously by the 1st and 2nd Hokage. He was also known as a professor for his knowledge and usage of ninjutsu. In the 1st Naruto databook, it is also stated that he could use any technique. In Naruto chapter 120 and the 4th Naruto databook, he is reputed for his advanced knowledge and skill in the use of all techniques to ever exist within Konoha, including the many hidden techniques. Another passage from the 4th Naruto databook also confirms that Hiruzen was a teacher of Minato. The passage is named as Kages and Traditions Handed Down in All Villages. According to this passage, in the village of Konoha, as a tradition, for generations the ones who become Hokage have their faces carved on the Hokage rock. The stone faces of the successive generations are the symbol of the harmony and the public peace of the village of the Hidden Leaf, and they are the objects of the villagers' esteem. The 1st and the 2nd were full brothers, and Tsunade, the 5th, is the 1st's granddaughter. Moreover, the 3rd with the 1st, and the 2nd and the 4th with the 3rd, had a teacher-student relationship. So due to all of that, I think it is quite clear that Hiruzen was also a user of the Flying Thunder God technique, and he was the one who taught Minato the technique that would later earn him the nickname of Yellow Flash. I think Hiruzen was teaching Minato from a young age, since he was always looking for a prodigy who would change the world. For example, when he was Orochimaru's teacher, he saw a hope. He thought that Orochimaru was the one who would change the world for the better, because of the fact that he was born with a superhuman talent, and although he also saw that there was a malice in his heart, he decided to support him unconditionally because his desire to improve the ninja world was great. So when Minato showed up, Jiraiya must have told Hiruzen about Minato and how he could be the boy from the prophecy, how he was very talented, was super smart, and how big of a will of fire he had. I think this would make Hiruzen excited, and he approached Minato very soon. Beside that, Minato as a kid was gaining fame in the village. For example, he got the highest score in the entire history of the first stage of the Chunin exams, and prevented Jonin from the Cloud Village from taking Kushina Uzumaki, who was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, among other things, and in such a way, we could say that Hiruzen approached Minato very early and prepared him to be his successor. I would love to see Hiruzen training Minato. We have rarely seen Minato in his childhood, and I think the only time we have seen him as a kid was in Kushina's flashback. But in that scene, Kushina was the center of attention, not Minato. He appeared from time to time, but had very limited screen time. It is such a shame that we never got to see a Minato spin-off, since in 2010, if I remember correctly, Masashi Kishimoto said that he was thinking about doing a spin-off about Minato Namikaze, where he will be much younger and was intending to draw Minato as a child. But this idea stayed as an idea, and we have yet to see any update on that. Personally, after Boruto's story is concluded, I hope we will see Minato Gaiden. It would be a very good opportunity to show us a lot of interesting things about the Naruto world. We could finally see characters like Sakumo Hatake and Prime Hiruzen in action. Also, it would be nice to see Jiraiya as a leader of his own team. Now that we're talking about Team Jiraiya, I would really love to see its members. We know that every student of Jiraiya was an S-class ninja, and I doubt that those two were different. It would also be nice to see Minato learning Sage Mode and his personal training from Jiraiya and Hiruzen. I think in Minato Gaiden, we would also be able to see Minato's family and parents. Now let's talk about Tobirama Senju and why he created this technique in the first place. We know that Tobirama has created a lot of techniques in Naruto, and when you think about it, he made most of them to counter Uchihas. For example, he was probably the strongest water style user in the series, which is the chakra nature that is dominant over fire release, the chakra nature that Uchihas are the most proficient in. Also, shadow clones, which are not distinguishable by Sharingan, are made by him. And I guess Flying Raijin is not an exception either. He created this technique to counter the Uchiha's Sharingan. It was shown very well in his fight against Izuna, where Izuna was unable to read Tobirama's movements with his Sharingan, since the Sharingan can't read your movements if you teleport. There is no in-between from here to there, you just disappear and reappear. Also, in the series, we were hearing from time to time how Minato improved the Flying Thunder God technique, but when we saw Minato and Tobirama, who were using this technique in the Fourth Great Ninja World War, there weren't really any differences between the usage of Flying Thunder God technique. I think the technique remains unchanged, except that Minato uses his own distinct formula, as we can see it in Naruto chapter 641, when Minato and Tobirama used Flying Thunder God mutually instantaneous revolving technique against Obito. We can see that they call this technique different names. Tobirama calls it reciprocal round robin, and Minato calls it Flying Raijin technique. Also, the ceiling markings are different from each other as well. Otherwise though, you can't improve the technique. Instant is instant, you can't go any faster than that. The technique's operation remains the same too. The difference between Tobirama and Minato's Flying Thunder God is their usage. Like Tobirama, he developed his own sub-ninjutsu from it, like Hiraishin Dorai. Anyway, I guess this is all for today. What do you think about Minato Namikaze and the Flying Thunder God?